I've been slowly shaping this studio for 3 years now, trying to create a space where I can film my YouTube videos, a desk setup where I can work effectively, and a space that actually inspires me to make things. And I think the best way to start 2026 is to show you around the entire studio, show you everything that's changed and everything that stood the test of time. So let's get into it. Oh, and if you're new here, my name's Tom. I talk about tech in a more calm and relaxed manner. I'm not here to shout at you. So let's get straight on with the tour. Let's start with the build of the desk, and this is one that I've built from IKEA. I've had it for quite a long time. It's the Carby kitchen countertop, which is making up the desktop, and that is attached to a pair of FlexiSpot legs, which let me turn it into a standing desk if I need to. Over the 3 years I've had this desk here and the 6 years I've had the same setup at home, there's been no bowing or anything like that. It stayed really sturdy throughout my entire usage, which is really great to see. It's a great overall size at 182 centimeters long, but my only feedback and my caution for other users is it's only 60 centimeters wide, and once you start putting things on the desk, that doesn't actually give you a huge amount of room. So for those of you that like to have loads of stuff spread out, or if you need just a bit more depth between you and your monitor, that's something worth considering. But that's generally a bit of a nitpick on a desk that I genuinely do really love. As for everything sitting on the desk, I've really slimmed down what I use over the last couple years or so, but the basis of it does revolve around the Grove-made desk shelf. I'm a huge fan of desk shelves. I think they make your desk look really complete, and they also give you loads of space for storage. My favorite accessories to put within the desk shelf though are absolutely these trays. These are from a company called Ugmonk, and they're really good at holding those extra things where you don't necessarily have a space them before. I've got one that's holding 2 of my hard drives, which I use for backups, and I've got another one which holds like some Game Boy games, some stickers. Underneath that I also have their pen holder, which is cut out of one solid block of wood, which is really nice too. On the other side of the shelf I have Made in Japan and Make Time, which are 2 books which I really like to reference, and under that I have the Orbit Key Desk Tidy, which is useful as well for holding those little extra things. And the last thing I have sitting in that shelf is my M4 iPad Pro. Sitting on top of the shelf I have the Grove-made iPhone stand as well. I've had this for years now, but it's just a really well made, really heavy mount for the iPhone. This is often where I'll dock my phone when I'm sitting doing work, and I'll turn it so it goes into standby mode, which is always just quite nice to look at. I used to have an iPad stand here, which was really good for doing a bit of universal control, so I could control the iPad with the same keyboard and mouse that I'm using on my Mac. But since iPhone mirroring has come to the Mac, I haven't actually needed access to it as much, because I can just boot that up and do everything that I need to on iOS and then just close it without having going to a separate screen. So that's been something that's changed a little. And talking of changes, another new addition is my headphones. These are the Nothing Headphone 1, and these headphones are great anytime I need to take a call or just need to kind of really focus and lock in on doing something. I quite like what Nothing did with these headphones. The design and look won't be for everybody, but the tactile controls on the back and the overall sound I generally really enjoyed, so they're staying on my desk. Next to that is a small Kushu lamp, which you can probably see in this A-roll just there, which adds a tiny bit of ambience to the setup, which I quite like. Then on the right hand side I have a few more books which I like to reference, but also some old Japanese Famicom games, because I just love the design of these and I'm often using them for props in video shoots too, so I like having that easy access. And finally, where my PC setup used to be, I now just have this Teenage Engineering Computer One case. My initial plan of this was to rebuild my PC into this Computer One case, but it turns out that case isn't good for basically any modern graphics card. You can only fit in really tiny ones, but I love the design of this so much that it's now just an empty case sitting on the end of my desk, but I kind of like how it works as a bookend. As for a keyboard and mouse, I often change my keyboard a lot, but I've really settled on one lately, which is the Keychron Q2 Max, the 65 key version. This is just a beautiful keyboard to use. I love how it looks, but what I really love to use over any other keyboard is the dial that's on there. This defaults to volume, but you can kind of set it to do whatever you want it to. But honestly, having it as a volume control is so useful. I use it all the time, and it's especially useful when you're in a call or something like that. Love that keyboard. I'm also a huge fan of the Matthew and Sina Mode keyboards. They're fantastic too. I was using one of those for a little bit of time, but I found myself gravitating back towards this one. As for a mouse, there's nothing new here. It's the MX Master 4. It's not the brand new updated one, which I saw they released lately, which does look tempting, but this one has worked fine for me. And finally, on the left side of the keyboard, I have the Work Louder Creator Micro. Now, I highlighted this in my last video as a piece of tech which I never truly got on with, but this year I'm going to try and make more of an effort to properly use it. This is effectively just an extra keyboard that lets you tie any shortcut you like to any of the buttons on there. And there's some more tactile controls too, like a rolling control and a dial as well. And if you use like bigger programs where you're always in Photoshop or always in Final Cut or Figma or something like that, you can actually get a lot of use out of this. So I'm determined to find a way that it can help speed up what I do. All of those are sitting on a Grove Made desk mat. You don't have to go Grove Made for these ones. You can go with anything you like. There's plenty on Amazon. This is just a felt one, and I think they just make your desk look really nice. It kind of frames everything well, and it just looks much better than a dedicated mouse pad. So those are all the accessories which sit on the desk. Let's talk about office chairs for a moment, because if you sit at long hours for a desk like I do, having a good one is really important, and that's where today's sponsor LiberNovo comes in. This is the LiberNovo Omni, and it's the most advanced chair I've ever used. And you've probably seen a lot of this chair recently, and that's for good reason. This is dynamic, so it actually moves with you. Thanks to the bionic FlexFit backrest and the electric lumbar support, it actively shapes itself to your spine, so you never have to fiddle with knobs or levers again. As you lean forward, recline or shift around, the backrest, lumbar support, armrests and even the headrest all adjust together to keep everything aligned. As someone going through a back injury with a slip disc still being an issue, this is really important to me. And while a chair isn't a medical solution by a long shot, having dynamic support for good posture throughout the day is something I do really care about. There's 4 reclining angles for comfort, but the absolute standout feature is the Omni Stretch massage function. This is something I've never seen before. It's a 5-minute stretch and massage that gently lifts and supports your lower back, and if you combine that with the footrest, it gives you the perfect way to relax and decompress after a long editing session. This is all powered by a rechargeable battery, so there's no ugly wires running around my desk, which I also appreciate. So if you want to check out the LiberNovo Omni and get a really good office chair, I've left a link in the description below. Powering the entire desk setup is the M1 Max Mac Studio. I've had this since it came out, so it's pushing on 4 years now, and my 4-year later review of it is I don't really have any notes. It's still holding up for everything that I need it to do. I genuinely think Apple made these almost too good, because I just haven't felt the need or temptation to upgrade it at all since I've had it. I love the amount of ports that it's got on the back, and having that SD card reader on the front, oh, it's just so useful. It's basically been the perfect computer for me, and I don't know when I'll upgrade it. I guess as soon as it starts slowing down or starts holding me up, but I haven't hit that point of it. So yeah, overall, very good. I also have my M4 iPad Pro, which I sometimes plug into my Apple Studio display as well, and I can use that as a desk setup, but that's getting rarer and rarer as I use the iPad more and more as a kind of research and design tool, as opposed to a desk setup. I used to have my custom PC here as well, but I've since taken that home to play Cyberpunk and things like that away from work because it was too much of a distraction. So the main powerhouse for this setup is the Mac Studio. For my monitor, I'm still using the Apple Studio display, which I pretty much have had since launch as well. And despite it being completely beautiful in terms of material and design, having really excellent speakers and having a great 5K resolution, it's really hard to recommend unless you're on a Mac and you edit photos, videos, or you do design things all day. For those people, which includes me, this is a fantastic display, and I could kind of recommend it really easily off the bat, even though it's got a high price to it. But for anybody else, or if you switch between PC and some gaming consoles, this is not the monitor for that. I was doing this a couple years ago with the Studio display, and it honestly was just not much fun at all. There's a lot of cable unplugging, and switching between things was just never easy. So if you're a Mac user like I am, you'll probably love this display, but if you don't, and if you switch around a huge amount, or if you want to play games or anything like that, you can get so much more for your money. The only thing is, it just won't look as nice as this one does. The only people that make monitors that look this good are Apple, and that's the Pro Display XDR or the Studio display. I really hope this year or soon that Apple will upgrade this, because it is begging for 120 Hz support and OLED, or mini LED or something like that, some sort of upgrade, because it's just feeling more and more outdated despite it still looking great. Okay, let's move to the rest of the studio, and the next thing I have in here is a dedicated B-roll desk. This is where I shoot the majority of the B-roll for my YouTube videos, and having a separate desk for it has been so useful. I keep a stack of all the props that I'm using at the moment, so I can quickly grab those on one end of the desk, make a scene in the middle, and then film everything that I need to. It's the same desktop as my actual desk setup as well, so whenever I film anything here, everything just feels kind of nice and in theme, which I really like. Underneath that desk, I've got some drawers from IKEA. These mainly hold artwork prints or products which I'm looking to review, which I haven't done yet, and it just acts as some overall storage. And one of the best things about this B-roll desk is it's on wheels, so I can move this around the entire studio and get kind of any shot that I need to and film from any angle. Super useful, and it makes filming B-roll really quick. Moving on from there, something which I'm a huge fan of is the Mustard-made lockers. I've got loads of their lockers in this space, but this is the big one which holds all of my extra filming gear. So that's lights, tripods, stands, microphones, wires, everything like that that's big and bulky goes straight into that big locker. And we also use it to hold some of our Kuroku stock. And talking of Kuroku stuff, that's exactly what the next desk in the studio space is for. Now, up until recently, I was sharing this space with somebody else who I run Kuroku with, but she's since moved on and left her desk and everything here. So I thought, rather than just get rid of it, I thought I'd turn it into a dedicated area to pack all of the orders from Kuroku. If you're not too sure what that is, Kuroku is our website where we sell little things like mugs and wallpapers and prints and things like that. Everything that you bought from us in the last kind of couple months or so, I've personally packed it sitting over on that desk, and it's just been a really nice place to do it. Okay, moving on from there is one space which I'm really happy with, and it's very recently that I've managed to get this working properly, is this coffee station. This is sitting on top of one of the smaller locker units, and it's just the perfect place to have a small coffee machine. I did have a more barista style one here before, but it was way too messy, and I'm not too close to a kitchen, so getting things like milk and stuff was always a nightmare. But this new setup has finally got that sorted out. The machine is from Grind, it's their Grind 2 machine, and while it is a pod machine, it still makes a decent cup of coffee, which I really like. The only thing which isn't ideal about it is you do need a milk frother as well, so I have to go and fill that up with milk, come back and froth the milk, and then pour that in. But it's not too much hassle, and it's way cleaner than what I had before. And honestly, the overall design of it just fits super well into the studio too. I'm a big fan of it, and I'm finally using that area of the studio much more than I was before. Once I grab my coffee as well, I like to come to this area of the studio, which is basically my guitar corner. And I set this up because if you have played guitar in the past, you'll know how easy it is to not play for a really long time. So I wanted to set this up so I have access to this hobby at any time with no real friction. And it's a really simple setup. It's just an orange Micro Terra plugged into an Ampero Mini, which is a little amp modeler which lets me get loads of different amps and tones and sounds. And I've also got it on a wireless system as well, so I can press a couple buttons and be playing pretty much immediately. And the guitar I have here, of course, I'm a massive Blink fan, is the Tom DeLonge Starcaster in the wonderful surf green as well. This guitar is obviously built for punk rock, so you get nice things like but it can solo quite well as well. And if you roll off the volume a little bit, you can get some half decent clean tones as well. So yeah, it's just a nice little area of the studio where I come to chill out, drink a coffee, or do some research, or sometimes to play some PSP or things like that too. And I've really loved it since I've had it. When it comes to the walls of the studio, they've all been really specifically designed as well, and they're a real mix between practical and kind of decoration stuff. So in terms of the practical designs, when you come into the studio, I've got a small shelf where you can hang your keys and place any items that you need to, and under that are some pegs to hang your bags. I also have a camera shelf which holds all of my camera equipment which I can quickly grab if it's a lens, a body, or if I've just got an idea that hits me, I can quickly film it. I've also got a pegboard which holds all of my keyboards which are currently in rotation because I often chop and change those around. And I've also got the Samsung Frame TV, which I've glazed about enough on this channel, but to do it one more time, it's a 32-inch TV which just works perfectly with a wall of frames. It doesn't have very good speakers, the pitch quality isn't isn't great at 1080p, but it's a really matte display, and when it's displaying one thing, it actually almost looks like a picture, which is just fantastic. This is pretty much on all day, all the time, either rotating through lo-fi and DJ sets or watching live bands that I really like. That's really nice to have set up. And no, I still haven't sorted out the cable. I know I need to, so I'll do that at some point this year, I promise. The rest of the wall space though is basically full up with decoration or with stuff that I find inspiring. I think it's really important to surround yourself with other great work or stuff that you look up to, or stuff that reminds you of trips you've been on, or stuff that you just find funny. Because if you are just staring at blank walls, it's really easy to become uninspired. But if you've got something on the wall which you look up to and think, wow, that's a fantastic piece of work, or what an amazing piece of art, you'll often find yourself wanting to do the same, and it will just kind of get you more into the groove. Or at least that's how I feel about it anyway. I'll do my best to list all of the artists and all of these prints as best I can, but the one thing I will highlight, because it's brand new to me, and I talked about it in my last video, but it is the new clock I got from Dalton. This is inspired by a train station clock, so it's got two faces, and it just looks so good on the wall. I can't believe how nice it is, and I also can't believe how much I spent on it, but it just looks perfect in this space. And it's nice to have something which sticks out of the wall and really makes you look at it, rather than having something which just lays flat against the wall, which most of this stuff is. One of my big goals with this space was I could point a camera at any angle of the room and film, and it would look good. And I put all of that down to the effort I put in with decoration and how I've decided on the colors and things like that. And I'm really happy I spent the time doing it, because it's made my job much easier too. The last setup, of course, though, is my filming setup, what you're watching me on now. This is just an area of the studio which I'm shooting towards, where I've got my photo background here, which I can pull different colors down from, and I've also got my desk set up sitting behind me too. I wanted to make it as easy as possible to set this up, so all of my lights, everything that I'm using, is on wheels as well, so I can wheel that around the studio. And to show you effectively what it looks like from my end, I'll switch to my iPhone, but this is effectively what I'm looking at. I've got my camera here, I've got my lights over here and here. They're all on wheels, as mentioned, so I can just move it around the studio. And this just shows how messy things get when I am filming. So as nice as this studio looks in this video, you know, things aren't always as nice as they seem, and it takes a long time to kind of put everything back. But effectively, that's what this looks like when I'm filming my videos. It's nothing too complicated, but I've been pretty happy with A-roll shot for quite a while, and I think it shows off the space I'm in nicely too. Okay, that pretty much wraps up the overall look of the studio. I hope you enjoyed the tour, and I hope it kind of gave you some insight to how I work and how I get everything done, and my overall taste in terms of design. And one of the things I do get asked a lot though is, you know, how did you find your taste? How did you put this all together? And I can't really answer that in one video. So what I'm going to do is to make a separate video on how to make your own beautiful desk setup and space to have it in. So if there's any questions you've got for me that you'd like me to include within that video, let me know. And if the video is out, I'll link it below. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe, that'd be really helpful. And as ever, I will see you all in the next one.